I mean, they say, I don't know, yeah, I'm say, Ubia di hun komo say. And man for say, injimumra. As a financial analyst, what 24-hour economy, a day about Trimankasa.
Me 24-hour economy, they be embedded with you. Because se wache utono from at 6 o'clock. Now they open at the match 6 o'clock. Se nkofo home beto what is an open. So I don't nkofo can dey me say. Se uton ebro and out to broad here. Now o disiso and past 6 nkofo beto I can assure you Ghana for better on broading 6 o'clock. So sir, 24-hour economy is already operating to the point where we demand the goods and services. And I don't know how it's going to improve. Who are the 2-3 hour time? So 24 hours, so don't on 3 days, so it's still a 2-3. So for me, it doesn't make any difference. It's lifestyle. Is that the right word? Yes.
So, me say, Treze, enye adie bia efri baby ebeti asim abesisa anything just to say that the omanfo ehwehwe no ene bra omorehwe no ene be kire say 24-hour economy no possible and enye possible.
Exactly. Fair. Ghana for no yepejuma. Yeni eden. Yepejuma yeni eden. So we say juma ho say u sit down now the light to so go be juma 24 hours. Messi for ni adi so mo ho. Whether there's a demand, say obi pay so you baby. And one know. So whether it's 24 hours or it's 12 hours, and yeah, I should have found.
The announcement of such a policy, for some of us, you say, okay, ABA, it rather push policy formulated. Say, Omube has ABA, the manufacturing sector, for example, construction sector, for example, a month will be Timia, Juma day and night. And no, who's still necessary.
Okay, but what is stopping the construction sector from working day and night? It's demand. If people demand houses, don't work day and night. How much someone can open? It's a private sector. Yeah, private in there. Say, say no. Say at the radio station, edu maybe a mobile religious. At the I don't know happy, but most stations no after about 10 o'clock no. Why don't you continue with your adverts? Why don't you continue with your programming? Because you know nobody's listening. If you knew there are people listening, I can assure you, Happy FM tomorrow you working 24 hours. From this evening, you working 24 hours.
We still work 24 hours, as you say.
What I mean is that the sort of programs that you broadcast after a certain time, it changes.
Yeah, depending on time.
Yeah, exactly. If you think that people will be listening to this program at 1 in the morning, of course you broadcast it. What difference does that make to you? It doesn't make any difference to you. So many kind of nyema how say you can once we know there at the comedies be there nyema at the aduane boarding aduane at the ye now we import from abroad aduane dey fi abrochi ye man ni adwuma and no one else can once
and you na obi behunu say even ye here if you have people working on our poultry farms in the night, especially who can demand the supply, there's a demand for jobs. So, there's a huge demand for jobs, especially among the youth. And if you are creating jobs, and jobs will be taken up into the night, it's not something I'm for budget.
Oh, they'll work. So, for example, you can spend maybe $10 million to open poultry farms all over the country. Within 6 months, they all collapse because the imports are cheaper. It's not that people don't want to work 24 hours. It's that there is no demand. And there is no demand. You can put $100 million in Ghana poultry tomorrow. Within a year or 2 or 3 years, it will collapse because the imports are cheaper. And now, crap program be a you say Ghana Hano, small commercial farms near one. Workers into to more to me, Jumano. Yes, technical people. No. We bring them from overseas. It's costing us over $1.5 billion. Sky go outside the country. It's not about 24-hour economy. Just saying you have a 24-hour economy that will solve your problems. And I did say churches no. If people go to church 24 hours, of course they'll do sermons for 24 hours.
No, but we are looking at it. They said, okay, if people will have to hire expatriates to come and manage more businesses for them in this country, and it's costing this country so much money. Now, where say, okay, imported chicken. It's costing us this much importing it. About far less than what we produce locally. Exactly. Why not place a ban on imported chicken like the trade minister tries to obey in order to protect what we produce down here?
Okay, at the moment you are zero. If you place a ban on it, how are you going to feed your people? That's the one. Number two, no, more export licenses then you will go to political favorites. No, we don't want that. They should solve the chicken value chain, feed, hatcheries, maize meal, soya meal. Almost now, Ministry of Roads and Transport, Ministry of Trade, there are issues about that there's dumping on the market. Look at all this thing holistically and solve the problem. But saying you are banning, how do you solve the problem? Now, what you say, a license about your friends. This is the first time I import license for Ghana. And do subsidy crap import license no. Obi koji kra no at home. The background crop importing maybe about the 6 or 7 person I'll it. No, you solve the problem. The problem is not that Ghanaians don't want to work. Ghanaians work. Go all over the country. Acquire a kiosk where I say, yeah, pay Juma. Na sa wo ye Juma. Na we allow cheap imports to come now. Ne go o mine no. Fruit juice no me. Anytime we be doctor fruit juice, we be no. Say ejuma no di ama ade obi wo abroche. That's why you're taking the jobs. The issue is not say Ghanaians engagement. We want to work, but there's no country in the world that allows itself to be for its economy to be controlled by foreigners, and that's what we have done, and that's what we need to solve. Why are we allowing foreigners to take over our country? Which country is developed by foreigners? And our children need jobs. Our children need good schools. Our radio stations need to broadcast. They need to be advertised. I mean, what can 24-hour economy there? And there's neither here nor there. Habo 24 hours. Say 10 cars a month, 10 cars a month. Didn't say more cars, it won't make any difference.
But they said you're okay. If the poultry sector, roads, the feed and all that, Manfo have to grow maize and all that. We need people to be working on these farms, in these productions for 24 hours. And well, that would be solving the problem of importation of chicken, right?
People can work 24 hours if you give them the right incentives. At the moment, we import nearly all broilers. Until even also Bania, it will take another 6 or 7 months so that you can start feeding your market. What are we talking about?
That means with that approach, say, things right. The 24-hour economy will so help this country because it's clear people are doing it in their countries.
Look, if you create the right environment, the private sector will work. Take that 24 hours out of it. It's neither here nor there. If there's demand, people will supply. If there's demand, people will supply. Say, club no buy check. Say there's demand. If there's demand, people will supply. It's not 24.
Hello.
Oranges.
Mm-hmm.
Fine. Now buy.
Mm-hmm. Oh, hello there. Hello. Okay, so I think I've lost him on the line. We'll try and bring him back on the line. Ave, and then I'll try and comment. Is he on the line? I don't know. Hello there. Hello.
I'm here.
Okay. You're making a point, but at that part, no name's a line.
I'm making the point that I've made. If it's supply, it's like hard workers.
Mm-hmm.
If there's demand, then there's supply. You don't need to tell them to wake up. You think that the watch sellers now, or from 6 o'clock now upon 12 no, say in conference at 2 o'clock. Oh, sorry, meton.
So okay, so basically you are saying say ebia obi ton chelowate wo kaso akwan so na ebo anaju 2 am na amanfo ha umbeto chelowate say de tie bia na ebo 2 am obo ba beton amankrofo ato.
Thank you. Uba kaso be sawo. Obo ba to amano. Ye pay juma. Create the conditions for us to work. I'll give you something that, something that I learned, basic economics I learned in first year university. We say cocoa bag Ghana no. Na the cocoa no. For India cocoa. Cocoa bag Ghana no be a sumu teacher for managers, doctors, lawyers who be a cocoa. Dintra. If cocoa. People invested their own money. So if you create the right conditions, people will work.
Okay, so please, if you can readjust yourself for me, sir. Line I do maybe an answer
Okay, sorry. No, okay.
Okay,
sorry.
yeah. So from where people were encouraged to grow cocoa?
Yeah, and the government didn't grow cocoa, and everybody grew cocoa. Teachers, grandmothers, lecturers, doctors, water sellers, people selling dog shit. Everybody grew cocoa. Why did they grow cocoa? Because they knew that if they grew cocoa, they would make some money. So that's the incentive. Provide incentive for people and they'll work. What's the incentive for me to open a poultry farmer? Meaning, say, at the Obi Kofa, the cutting of the cost is lower than who does that?
So you also have a problem with the approach media trading ministers or they pay the ban on some imports.
It's a non-starter. I mean, the politics no more. It's a non-starter.
You think that is politics?
It's a non-starter.
It's a
non-starter.
Still, I will line no boy bang 50.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. No. I don't know.
Is it better?
Yeah, better.
Okay. I don't know. It's a non-starter. Politics now. Now, in China, politics now. Look, our children are starving. Our children take chickens. You import everything. We'll say from 1st January, 7. We're banning now. Now I'm in Kofobi license to mono import. Why not the Bema? You choose your friends and give to them. And how the people that produce, how you go to support them to produce to make up for the imports that you're doing. We have tried import licenses in this country. It never works. It never works. It will never work. It's a
it doesn't work because it's not workable, or the fact that we didn't do things right for it to work.
It's not workable because you see, at the very basic level, the licenses are shared amongst friends.
Okay.
So, yeah, and then the price. There's no even ability to control manage the price. But let's think through it from first principles. So on 1st January 2024, you say I'm going to ban all importation of chicken and I'm going to give license. Who are going to give the license to? On what basis? And then what period are you going to give them to import, and what period are you going to give them to start producing locally? In any case, you haven't spoken to all the parties that are related to the production of chicken. So what are you talking about? So how do we
solve a comedy for? What do we do? Because this approach, maybe the thinking of people coming up with these policies said this will come solve a comedy or manful. And you're saying that a non-starter from 24-hour economy, from ban on imports of some of these things. How do we go about it? Because a common demand for the song. In the end, what's the solution?
So what we do is that we think in silos. So Ministry of Agric, an idea. Ministry of Trade, an idea. Ministry of Roads and idea. Nobody, we are not thinking, we are not, nobody sitting around the table and saying, what do we need to do to solve this problem? We should budget no more. Almost some based on some
Again.
2014, 2016, 17. We've tried it so many times because we are thinking in silos, and the motivation for doing it is not to solve a problem. Motivation is for somebody to do something. We have to think collectively. We must have vision. We must have a short-term plan. We must have a medium-term plan. We must have a long-term plan.
We, when you say we, who? I mean, when you say we,
Ghanaians,
because we have had Senche. Ghanaians only think about when the next election is going to be, who to vote for. Because
unless we stop thinking like this, we'll have the same problems.
Okay.
Because the leaders, they reflect us. We put them there. They are our cousins. So if we want to solve the problem, we have to solve the problem. Short term, we have some leadership.
So at what forum, at what fora should Ghanaians have their voices heard, and as to which direction some of these things are solved? They must have that point, and I say, so I will say collectively, at what fora?
I think that first we must all vote. We must all take back the elections. We must question politicians as to what they want to do. We must hold them accountable.
When we vote for politicians to assume power, hold them accountable. No, time being cessing.
Okay, so you hold them accountable. You can organize and go and see them in their offices. You can organize and go to their Parliament House, register a protest. You can write to them. They come to the constituency. You can talk to them because they are brothers and sisters.
But you are aware, sir, you have several times, and remember results bear never.
What I'm saying is not something that happens overnight.
Okay.
And the politicians, they love to be in power because they enjoy the trappings of power. We all enjoy the trappings. So if the person doesn't perform, we say, this is why I didn't perform, and we're going to, we've marked you, you failed, so we'll vote for you again. We must hold them accountable.
Well, I have to say thank you very much for your time. I think that on the brand train studio doing
member studio there. After my
so
I am on breaking it down, Ghanaians. Ghanaians, look, we are as hardworking as any other people in the world. Look at our mothers and sisters. Look at also also crowded. The details now, the captain not the whole day.
Kenneth Thompson